episode 59 of FountainCast, a bi-weekly podcast brought to you by the Fountain Hills Chamber of Commerce, striving to be your one-stop fountain of information regarding your local business community here in Fountain Hills. I'm your host, Jill Haislip. Be sure to stay tuned after the podcast to hear about upcoming chamber events. In today's episode, I'm speaking with Jamie Haas, the Marketing and Education Coordinator for the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. Jamie joined the Conservation Center in March of 2020, the week after the first lockdown of COVID-19. Certainly a wild time for a career change, but she hasn't ever looked back. Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center was founded in 1994 and over the last 28 years has grown and expanded. Their mission is to save our wildlife one life at a time. Welcome, Jamie and Athos, to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. It's a pleasure.
So let's go ahead and tell our viewers, and unfortunately our listeners won't be able to see for real, but they can jump onto YouTube afterwards.
Yes.
Who is Athos?
Do you want me to grab him?
If you want to, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, I don't want to. Oh, 1 second. The technical behind the scenes bits. Hey, buddy. Wanna come have a situation out here? Yeah, let's do it. Come here. Okay. Look. Yeah, I know. Not too much longer, my guy. Let's come up here and say hello. Thank you. All right, you stay here. I'll hand this to you.
Okay.
Very exciting stuff. Well, Athos here is an Arizona Sonoran desert tortoise. He is about 19, 20 years old. I don't know exactly how old he is. And that is because we, Southwest Wildlife, are helping out our friends at the Arizona Game and Fish Department. We currently have 9 Arizona Sonoran desert tortoises in our sanctuary over in Scottsdale, which is almost Fountain Hills, almost Scottsdale. You know, it's on the in-between part.
Right.
And so this is him. This is Athos. The Arizona Sonoran desert tortoise is he's like a ground creature, if you can't tell.
He's wanting to go places.
Set him down in just a second.
Absolutely.
For his own comfort. But I do just want to let you know that they are a protected species here in Arizona. They are only native to the Sonoran Desert, which is the desert that we live in here in Arizona. When you might have seen tortoises quite larger than this guy, the closer you get to the equator, the smaller the animals get. So there's less food, less water. The animals will have evolved to be smaller than those in places with an abundance of food and water. So sure. Our coyotes are smaller than other parts of the country. Our bobcats are smaller. Our black bears are smaller. I mean, I could go on down the list. But yes, this is Athos. He, even though it doesn't look like it, he's delighted to be here.
Well, he is trying to go anywhere he can. So we are thrilled that you are here. Thanks for coming. And can folks see him and his other friends if they go up there?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Absolutely, they can.
All right. Well, we'll let you go back and lay down a little bit.
Here, yeah.
Okay.
You're going to sit here.
Well, this is very exciting. We are super excited that you both are here with us today.
Oh, I'm excited too.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what else do you guys have with the Conservation Center?
Yeah, sure thing. So at Southwest Wildlife, we are primarily a rescue, rehabilitate, and release facility for Southwest mammals. So the mammals I know I just showed you a reptile, but a coyote or a bobcat doesn't travel as well as this little guy.
I tried, I asked, she said no.
I was like, the teeth, I'm not a huge fan. But anyway, we are primarily a rescue, rehab, release facility for Southwest mammals. So we have a 24/7, 365 emergency hotline that anyone can call whenever they find a mammal in need, who is larger than a rabbit. Rabbits we do not have a fantastic success rate with. And our friends at Liberty Wildlife, which is another facility similar to ours, but a little farther away from here, are experts at rabbits. So we let them handle the small critters. And we take the big ones. The main animals that we get in from rescue calls are coyotes, bobcats, javelinas, also called a colored peccary. I'm sure you've seen them. If you live anywhere in the desert, you have seen a javelina. What else have we got? We also get skunks, raccoons. Every once in a while we get a ringtail in. If you don't know what that is, that's our state mammal, and it's very worth a Google. They're extremely cute. Uh-huh. So yeah, those are the kind of the usual suspects, we call them. We also, if an animal can't be released back into the wild for any reason, we are an accredited sanctuary as well. So this guy, he's still here. Along with, I think around 90 something other animals live with Southwest at full time. And that includes all the species that I listed, as well as a few others. We have 5 black bears. We have 6 mountain lions. Wow. Several species of deer. We have something called a Coatimundi, and again, if you have not seen that, Google it. They're very cute.
Wow. Okay, everybody should have a notepad.
I know, right? C-O-A-T. I know. No, what you should do is we are open for guided tours of our facility. So if you go to southwestwildlife.org, there's a button right on our homepage that says book a tour. Do that maybe when it gets a little cooler outside. We do have tours in the summer for those who are not faint of heart. We do them early in the morning. So for early birds, around I think 8 o'clock is our earliest tour. Okay. It's about 2 hours, and your trail guide is a volunteer or a staff person at Southwest. They're experts in all of the stories of the animals who live at Southwest. They will tell you those stories, and I dare you not to fall in love.
I can imagine. You kind of went over the usual suspects, as you said. Is there a common theme as to why these animals end up with you guys, or does it really vary?
That's a great question. It kind of depends on the animal. Okay. I would say overall, the majority of animals that are being rescued have been in car accidents. There's a lot of human-animal conflict, particularly in, and I'm not saying, fist fights. Sure. But when we are living in their habitat and they are living in our habitat, the odds of us interacting get pretty high. Sure. So a lot of the calls that we receive are someone who either witnessed or was in a vehicle accident with an animal who survived the collision. And then we do our best to treat their injuries and rehabilitate them and release them into the wild if that's possible. Wow, that's great. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit. Can I back? Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, that's enough of you. I'm a big fan, but you peed on me, so. Uh-oh. It's fine. It's part of the job description. Okay, there you go, buddy. Okay, that's enough. I won't scare you anymore today. You get a special treat when we get back. The pee did not touch the microphone. This is a great part of the blooper reel. Wild animals, everybody. Okay. I don't know where we were going. Oh, the history. How did Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center come about? It's a really amazing story. Our founder and executive director, Linda Searles, who we are still on her 10 acres of private property today, she moved into the valley and heard a story that she got involved in, and I'll tell you that story right now. So in 1994, a farmer was plowing his field. Unbeknownst to him, he plowed right over a coyote den. Oh. He didn't do it on purpose. They're really good at hiding their stuff, so he didn't realize what had happened until he turned around and saw one lone coyote pup sitting on top of the den, and the rest of the family had unfortunately perished in the accident. So now there's an orphan coyote. He thought, well, this is a wild animal. I cannot keep this, which is the right thought. I would recommend it. So he started looking for somewhere to hopefully do what we do now, which is rescue, rehab, and release. In 1994, there wasn't one in this area of town. So in comes Linda Searles, who had recently moved to the area. She heard about the coyote, and she has a background in wildlife rehab. So she thought, well, okay, I guess I'm gonna start one. So being the sort of entrepreneur she is, and with the biggest heart of anyone you'll ever meet, she started a rehab, release, and sanctuary facility in literally her backyard.
Wow.
I know, and I mean, when I say backyard, it's 10 acres, so there's a lot of space that she gave to our wildlife here in Arizona. All these years later, we're still on her 10 acres, like I said. We have a few more animals now than we did then. We have about 12 staff members now. Our board of directors is awesome. A lot of folks living here in Fountain Hills. Shout out to Denise Rickett. But yeah, so that's how we got started with one coyote. Oh, and his name appropriately ended up, because he couldn't be released, she just didn't have the facility, so she started the sanctuary for him. His name appropriately was Don Coyote, or Don Quixote for our viewers at home. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard that you guys are looking to expand. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, we're on 10 acres. Right now we're at 156th Street in Rio Verde. So from here in Fountain Hills, you just go up McDowell Mountain, hang a left on Rio Verde, and go all the way down to 156th Street, and you'll be there in 25 minutes or so. But in the future, excitingly, we have made a deal with the county. We will be moving our entire facility onto 25 acres of McDowell Mountain Regional Park.
Wow.
So we're about to be even closer to Fountain Hills, which we're so excited about. And we're going to over double the size of our facility, which is going to allow us to provide larger enclosures for all of the sanctuary animals. Everyone, of course, has appropriately sized enclosures now, but sometimes more is better.
Exactly.
And as well as have really well thought out design as far as where buildings are located, proximity of like our food prep area to the enclosures, to the road, to all those things. We have the opportunity to really design it from the ground up. Because as you know, there's nothing there right now except for one visitor center. So yeah, we're partnering with MTS is the construction, the architect firm that we're working with for initial designs. We're in the super fun contracting phase where we get a soft cost, and then we're looking forward to launching a fundraising campaign as soon as later this year. So
excellent.
Keep your eyes open for that.
Yes, we will definitely post that on the Chamber's website as well as soon as you guys send that information over. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. So tell us a little bit about, I was looking on the website, and it was talking about the endangered species, such as the Mexican gray wolf. So can you tell us a little bit about some of those animals that you guys work with?
Absolutely. So the majority of the animals who live in our sanctuary used to be kept as pets, were injured to the point where they can't survive on their own. They're missing an eye, they're missing an essential leg, things like that. With the exception of the Mexican gray wolf, which you mentioned. They are a critically endangered species of wolf in North America. They're the second most endangered wolf species, and they are the smallest wolf species in North America. So the Mexican Wolf Recovery Program, as it is called, is a federally run program. It's under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And it started in 1976 after they passed the Endangered Species Act, and they started, listing the endangered species that they wanted to protect with the new regulation. And I mean, fast forward to today, the program has expanded quite a bit. It started initially with only 7 Mexican wolves, And today, we are so lucky that there are 196 in the wild in Arizona and New Mexico.
Wow.
And between 200 and 300 in facilities similar to ours. Now, primarily Southwest Wildlife is what's called a holding facility for the Mexican gray wolf. We do not have the facilities for breeding currently.
Okay.
But other places in Arizona do, like the Phoenix Zoo, the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum. I mean, I could go on and on. Lots of places in the Southwest, as well as nationwide, like the Brookfield Zoo, and other places are essential in the conservation program. So most of the wolves who live with us are either they failed out of the breeding program, they couldn't find a really good genetic match for that wolf, or they have aged out of a breeding program. We kind of joke that we're the Sun City East for the Mexican wolf, the retirement community.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a joke for the locals. But we actually do have several younger wolves with us right now who are on the tour route that you can meet. When you see wolves in very close proximity, you understand why it's so important to save them, really. They're an essential species for the ecosystem. If you haven't checked out what happened when they reintroduced wildlife to Yellowstone National Park, also worth the Google,
yes.
Right? You take out your pencil, Yellowstone wolves, it's incredible, the work that is being done. I do also have a cool announcement, which I don't know if I actually told you before this. We recently made our first foray into breeding Mexican gray wolves. Two of our middle-aged adults, their names are Melly, the female, and Moonlight, the male, were matched, and they did not have a place for, hopefully, the breeding to take place. We welcomed them in, said, yeah, sure, and it was sort of a last-ditch effort. Melly is 11. For some context, they live 6 to 9 years in the wild, 15 to 17 in captivity. So she's getting up there. This is probably the last season that she could have pups. And she had rejected all of her previous suitors. They were just, she's a picky lady, and we can understand. But we wanted to, see if we could help out the program. And when, federal and state agencies are asking you to help conserve a critically endangered species, you kind of say yes.
Of course.
So we're absolutely thrilled that they were successful.
Oh.
They had 2 pups on April 30th. And both of those pups were cross-fostered into the wild.
Oh my gosh.
So what does that mean? When, how do I say this the easiest way? Sorry. So cross-fostering is the main way that scientists are getting pups out of captivity and into the wild.
Okay.
When you think about it, when there's such a small number of wild wolves, that's kind of a small gene pool. Also thinking about traveling from one pack to another, things like that. So to diversify the gene pool, as well as get wolves into the wild, one of the ways they do that is through cross-fostering, which is taking pups who were born in captivity, and then almost like a Mission Impossible thing, getting them on a little, one of those little tiny planes, flying them out to a den site, hiking several miles to a wild wolf den while the parents are out hunting, and smuggling those captive-born pups into the den of a wild mother who had given birth within a week. So there's so many stars.
Crazy.
I know. There's so many stars that have to align for that to be successful.
And do they do any type of follow-up to check and see how that's going?
They do. It's called the I think the Interagency Field Team, the IFT is what they're called. Okay. They're a group of scientists who are way smarter than me with the Arizona Game and Fish Department, and also with New Mexico Wildlife, because those are the 2 states that Mexican wolves are native to.
Okay.
They have folks in the field all year round, tracking pack movement. Not all of them have GPS chips or collars or anything like that.
Yeah.
And baby wolves are much too small to put anything on.
Yeah.
And if we do, that increases the risk that the wild mother will reject them. Like, I don't know, those ones look different than mine.
Yeah.
But cross-fostering works tremendously well with wild wolves. They're such a strongly bonded pack animal that, I mean, they eat family style anyway. And they've got babies, so I mean, what's
Why not?
What's one or two more, you know? Like, hey, yeah, join the family. You can hunt when you're older.
Oh my gosh, that's fascinating.
I know. So we're so excited. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service successfully cross-fostered 11 pups this year. 2 of them in Arizona were born at Southwest Wildlife. So,
wow. Well, congratulations. That's
thank
huge.
you.
That's
yes,
great.
We couldn't have done it without the incredible support of all of our community. It was hundreds of volunteer hours watching enclosure cams to see if they made it, to see if pups were born. All of our amazing donors made it possible. So yeah, we couldn't do what we do without the community by any means.
Well, let's actually go into that. So I don't think most folks realize that you guys are a nonprofit and that you do rely on the community and donors and volunteers. So tell us a little bit about how folks here in Fountain Hills or Scottsdale or really anybody can get involved with helping your guys' efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty. I mean, many hands make light work. We have a robust volunteer program. There are several different areas you can volunteer if you want to get in there and get your hands dirty. And I mean, I just got peed on by a tortoise, so I mean it.
So if you're ready for that, call Jamie.
Yeah, call my cell phone. We have animal care, which is our husbandry program, meaning you're in enclosures, you're cleaning crates, you're washing dishes, you're doing all of the daily business to give back and take care of the animals who wouldn't survive without this sanctuary.
Right.
We have a rescue team, so folks who answer the phone to dispatch rescuers, folks who go out and rescue wild animals from people's yards, from the side of a road, kind of anywhere within the greater Phoenix metro area.
Okay.
So Phoenix, Scottsdale, Glendale, like that general zone. We also have education programming, which is one of the things I'm passionate about that I do a lot of.
I can tell.
Well, good. I'm glad. We have tour guide opportunities. We host tons of special events that we need folks to interface with people about, and we are always looking for tour guides. Folks who want to tell the stories of animals and educate the public on how to best coexist with all the amazing wildlife we have here in Arizona. We have clinic volunteer opportunities. We have groundskeeping. I mean, basically, if there's a task, there's a volunteer job for it. So there's so many ways to contribute your time that way.
That's great.
You can also contribute financially. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so all donations are tax deductible. Yes. And we really miraculously are still funded by majority of grassroots donors, just folks who are really generous, give us $5 a month, $10 a month, or a one-time donation of whatever you can. Every dollar goes a long way in this economy, but you have the opportunity to really make a difference in the lives of wildlife here in Arizona and to help conserve it for future generations. And so at southwestwildlife.org, there are many different ways you can sponsor an animal. You get their photograph, a letter with their story. That's a really fun one, and I make those. So if you get one, you can be like, hey, I know the person who made that.
Yes.
Also, you can become a member of our Wild Family, which is our monthly giving program. Again, any amount from $5 to $500 a month. If you're looking to offload some cash, we'll take it. But they are really the lifeblood of Southwest Wildlife. They let us do the B word, which is budget. So last year, kind of out of the blue, we got 5 orphaned baby bears in. And for context, one baby bear eats about $30 worth of food per day.
Wow.
And they need rehab for at least several months. So that was a really unexpected big cost. Because of folks from our wild family, we knew that we would be getting the income in so that we could open our doors and say, absolutely, game and fish, we will help you rehab these bears and then you can release them. So yeah, we're really excited about that. You also get exclusive behind the scenes emails, videos. They were the first people to know about the wolf cross-fostering. So you really, they are part of the Southwest family. So
Absolutely.
If that sounds fun to you, hit us up, southwestwildlife.org.
That's wonderful. As I had mentioned in your introduction, you just joined a few years ago. You are extremely passionate about your job. Tell us a little bit about what you did prior to and kind of what brought your journey to where you are today.
Sure. I'm a weird one. I grew up in Central Phoenix. So I graduated from Phoenix Christian High School in, 2000 something? Whatever. I won't out myself. But then I went to Arizona State University, go Devils. And I got my bachelor's degree in theater. I know, what? They put a lot of transferable skills though, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So I am also an actress. I do a lot of voice work, local Shakespeare stuff on my off time, and I love storytelling. But that, I also need to pay the bills. So I worked for almost 10 years in the private sector for a software company. I did various jobs there, customer service, customer success, HR, more of like the learning and development side of HR, lots of different random stuff there. But then I realized I don't want to do this for the rest of my career. I want to give back in some way. And I want to do work that I feel is meaningful. And that's, of course, different for everyone. But for me personally, I really wanted to get into nonprofit or some kind of animal work. I've loved animals forever. It's one of those things that my mom, just instills in you.
Sure.
Is to care for those who need our help.
Right.
So I saw randomly a job posting for Southwest Wildlife. Like probably so many of the listeners and viewers at home, you had never heard of it either. We're the best kept secret, which we're now working really hard on not being a secret anymore. But I thought, hey, that sounds really interesting. I want to go check it out, see if I can throw my hat in the ring. Again, just much like with the wolves, the stars aligned, and here I am. So yeah, I've taken over a lot of the marketing work, a lot of writing, social media posts, that kind of stuff. And then I also I'm a tour guide. I help do event planning stuff, kind of wherever I'm needed. Yeah. I drag tortoises around,
Which we're very appreciative, so thank you for that.
Of course, he's delightful.
Yes, definitely. So is there any tips or tricks, kind of as we're wrapping up, that you can give our listeners and viewers if they were to come in contact with an injured animal,
Yes.
which may be endangered as well,
Mm-hmm.
What should they do? Because some people may panic, some people may be like, it's going to be fine, and just kind of walk away. What's the advice you can give?
Yeah, here's what I always tell everyone. Do not touch wildlife. Do not feed wildlife, period. We have all sorts of volunteers who are vaccinated up, down, right, and left against all sorts of potential diseases, not to be like, oh, wildlife is disease carriers, but you want to protect yourself.
Of course.
And they're also trained professionals. So a lot of, particularly the mammals that we deal with at Southwest, are either apex predators like mountain lions and bears, or, middle of the food chain predators like coyotes, bobcats, javelinas, those kind of guys.
Don't feed any of those.
Yes, exactly. Do not feed them. With your hand or unintentionally. If you see one who is lying in the middle of the road, on the edge of the road, in your yard, and you're not sure what to do, always call us. Okay. Our emergency line, I'll say it, and then you can Google us later and check it out. But our emergency hotline is, in my head, 480-433-5656. So it's easy to remember, even though I had some trouble recalling it there. But always give us a call. Our hotline operators are trained and experienced in dealing with wildlife. They will first and foremost help you assess the situation. Like, does that animal really need a rescue? Do they just live there? What can you do to deter them from being on your property if you're not into that? That whole thing.
Okay.
A couple of other tips for folks with pets. Please, if you can, keep your cats indoors. We do share habitat with very many animals here in the Southwest, and they aren't like on the hunt for your pet by any means. All they are is hungry. Coyotes and bobcats are what we call opportunistic hunters, which means if there's an opportunity for a meal, they will take it because they don't know when that next opportunity is going to come. So if you take away the opportunity, you're not going to have coyotes like prowling around.
Right.
Nobody's hiding in the shadows or anything. Keep your pups on leashes. At night, if you have very small dogs and they need to go potty, just go stand out there with them. Our presence typically deters bobcats and bobcats and coyotes for sure.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure to have you both here. We've learned a lot of information today. Go ahead and share the website again for all of our viewers and any upcoming events.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much again for having me, Jill. It's been a pleasure. Our website is southwestwildlife.org, and you can find us there. You can also Google Southwest Wildlife, and we'll come right up at the top. Upcoming events. It's summertime, so we do a lot of virtual stuff.
Oh, great.
In July, we are really excited. We are going to be hosting a virtual speaker series via Zoom, so you can be inside. We do them once a month on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. And our July one, I'm really excited about. A group of retired biologists, wildlife biologists, live in Tucson, and they have started kind of a pioneer urban bobcat study. So they have been surveying the bobcat population down there, and bobcats are really interesting. I'm so excited to learn about the urban population there because they're often one of the more forgotten cats. They're not a pet, but also they're not a lion or a tiger, right? They're in the middle. So I'm excited to pick her brain and hear all about the study they're doing down there.
Yeah.
We are also having 2 very special events, which are sold out right now, but there's a wait list. So join the wait list. You don't want to miss out. We partner really closely with the Arizona Game and Fish Department. They're wonderful. They do 2 bat netting events at Southwest Wildlife. We're doing one on the last Saturday in July and one on the last Saturday in August. And you can, again, find all of these tickets on our website. The biologists put up, they do bat surveys to just kind of see the health of the population, the size, all kinds of sciencey stuff that they do. But they have these big nets that they put up, and the bats will fly into them, and they pull the nets down, survey the bats, measure their wingspan, and they do this, for the viewers, within the distance that Jill and I are right now.
Right.
So they're really
up close and personal.
I know, with the bat.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
You don't, even if you see, I think that was a bat sitting on your porch or whatever, they fly so fast and they are not awake during our awake hours.
Right.
So you hardly ever see them, but you get really up close and personal. It's an amazing
I understand why you're sold out. That's awesome. Is that something that's yearly that folks could look forward to?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, so
every summer.
Plan ahead.
In the dark, so it'll still be hot, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
at least we won't have to deal with the sun.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Jill. Thank you for having me.
All right, that will wrap up episode 59 of FountainCast. And once again, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Don't forget to share our show with friends, neighbors, clients, and anyone in your network. And please like, rate, and review our show wherever you listen to your podcasts. A new feature of our podcast is you can now watch the video on the Chamber's YouTube channel. Be sure to log on to see our tortoise friend today. Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center empowers the community through education and knowledge. They're making a difference in the lives of these animals. Please reach out to them today to see how you too can make a difference through donations and volunteering. Now for upcoming Chamber events. Join us today, July 22nd at 11:30 for our lunch mob. We will be meeting at Cheryl's for some shopping. Take advantage of a 20% discount offered during lunch mob. Our secret restaurant location will be unveiled here. Be sure to get your singing voice ready for the FHYC karaoke contest on Friday, August 5th. Pre-sale tickets for Oktoberfest are already on sale, only $5. Be sure to check the Chamber's website for more details of all of our events. As today's host, Jill Haislip, thank you, Fountain Hills, for continuing to be the best community. Welcome to episode 59 of FountainCast, a bi-weekly We're going to start that over again.
Sounds good. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now we got that out of the way. We're going to be good to go for the rest. We did it.
Yay!
That was awesome.
Thank you. Oh yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, minus the P and all.